Hi guys, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the love, the likes, and the support, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, share the channel, tell a friend, invite a friend, and come on over. And today's topic will be on guilt. So, my question is, what is guilt? Well, guilt is a moral emotion. And when I say moral emotion, it means it occurs when a person believes or right? Realize that they have compromised their own standard or conduct, right? In a sense where they become responsible for their own actions which they take. It's a sense of regret, in a sense, right? It is described as a sense of regret. So they come to terms, they accept, right? They analyze and accept that, what they did was wrong, in a sense. So they come to terms with it, they accept it, and then whatever punishment is given, it is given at that point in time. So, what I'm trying to say, in life, we do things, right? We do things, and we have to give our own account for our own actions, in a sense. So we have to stand that cost that comes with it, right? Because we compromise our own self at times. So sometimes our action, it might be the things that we do, the things that we say, right? That jeopardizes our own risk, you know. Sometimes the things that we say or do, sometimes it causes us to regret our own actions. So you ever know, like, sometimes you say something to somebody and in the moment you're heated or you're hot-headed, right? And you don't want, at that moment, you can't see nothing but just to blow your steam out, to get whatever off your mind or your conscience, right? But at the end of the day, when you slowly come to terms and come to your own senses, you realize that what you did or what you say or what you had implied to that individual was wrong. So it gives you a sense of assurance that you regret what you had said. So in terms of that, you try to make it right. It's just like, say for example, you kill somebody, right? You kill somebody, that's your own guilt. That's something that you have to live with, in other words, and then you have to pay for your own punishment, right? So sometimes with guilt comes with its own advantage and disadvantage, right? So some of the advantage are, sometimes we act on impulse. When we act on impulse, we do and we say things, like I was saying before. So we do and we say things that later on down the road we slowly come to terms with our own subconscious level, and then we try to make things right. So it gives us a sense of assurance that we regret what we did, right? So we want to make it right. So sometimes when people say something that offend somebody, or they do something that offends somebody, then later on down the road, it might be a day, it might be two, it might be a week, it might be months, it might be year, then they slowly sit back and say, you know what I did was an impulse, and if I could have take back my actions. So it's a form of regret, right? Now that is advantage, in a sense, because you're turning your wrong into right by apologizing, right? And coming to your own subconscious level that you have done something wrong. Now disadvantage with guilt is, when sometimes some people, they do things, they do the thing, but for them, they are always right. Even when they're wrong, they're always right. It's like they don't have no reasoning ability. They can't come to terms of their own actions when they're wrong. They never admit, and for them, they are always in the right. That is disadvantage with guilt, in a sense. It's like whatever you say, even when you're trying your best to try to show them that, hey, you're wrong. For them, they're never wrong. You cannot get through to them. They're stuck in their own subconscious level where they believe they're right. So it's like you're at a point where you can't fight it. You just have to leave them. You understand? That is a form of disadvantage, because at times, people, they do things, and it's like sometimes a form of manipulation. So, later down the road, we're going to talk about manipulation, right? But it's a form of manipulation. It's like when they're wrong, they did the thing, and they turn around and make it seem as if it was you. So it's like they're using their psychology on you, in a sense. They're twisting it and then making you feel bad on the other end, as if you were the one that actually did something wrong. So that is disadvantage of guilt, right? So I'm pretty sure we all go through that in our day-to-day base, in our everyday base, and we have experienced something like that. So that is a form of guilt, right? So guilt is when we come to terms with our own action. We weigh the pros and cons. We analyze and we assess and we accept. We analyze, we assess, and we accept, and then we try to make things right, right? So we give account for our own actions, right? That is advantage, guilt, or in other words, guilt itself. But disadvantage guilt goes more in depth, and it goes more with the, working against your own brain, your own mental vocabulary, no reasoning at that point. So that individual has no reasoning ability. They cannot see where they go wrong. They just cannot accept when they're wrong with something, and it's a form of manipulation. They are manipulating your mind, your own mental, So, beautiful people, let us all start to, weigh the pros and cons with guilt. The word guilt, it doesn't kill for us to accept when we do something wrong. We're not too big and we're not too small to weigh the pros and cons by accepting, assessing, and then make it right. You understand? I know at times we think that on our own subconscious level, we feel too proud and we feel too high-minded, as if, when we done something wrong, we cannot say sorry, or we feel ashamed to come out and say that we are sorry for our actions. We're sorry for what we have done to someone, right? So if you are a person with, I would say, with morals and dignity and standards in your life, you should be able to determine, and when you have a great subconscious level, right, nothing is wrong with your intellect. So when you are able to analyze and assess where you're going wrong with things, you are not too small and you're not too big to say the word sorry. Sorry. And then we try to make the wrong. We turn the wrong into right by trying to make it right. And for those who love to manipulate, I strongly would suggest, well, you might not agree with me, but I always say it, there's times when I might say things you might not agree, but I would love for you, right? Because I know there is people out there, they are never wrong. They are never ever wrong with their actions, and they cannot reason. They cannot see where they're going wrong. And my greatest wish would be for you to start accepting your wrongs and make it right. Put aside the manipulation, put aside the fact you're making innocent people feel as if they're crazy or they're wrong when you know for a fact you are in the wrong. It's like you're playing with that person's mind, and that's not a good sign. So we're taking responsibility of our own actions. We have to take responsibility. If we don't take responsibility of our own action, who is going to do that for us? Nobody's going to do that for us, right? We have to start thinking about other people's feelings. We have to start thinking about other people's feelings. It's not about us. You understand? It's not about us. And I always say, what you don't want for yourself, do not do it to others, right? Put yourself in that individual shoes. Put your kids in that individual shoes. Would you like somebody to do those type of things to you? Guys, start accepting when you are wrong and turn that wrong into right. You know where you have to, what you have to do, and you know the thing that you have to do to make your wrongs into right. Right? We are not too big, we are not too small to accept areas in which in our lives when we do things that is wrong, to offend, to upset somebody. I know at times, like I said, we're caught up in that moment. We're heated at that time. So we act on impulse, in which we act too fast, we act too quick, and then we don't realize the things that's coming out of our mouth or our body language or our actions, it offends somebody. And that can affect somebody psychology, emotional, and physical. That can affect somebody along the way. Because it's not a good feeling. And I'm pretty sure it's not a good feeling when you experience it for yourself. So it is a state of, you know, when somebody, guilt is, it's a factor in which when you have committed some kind of offense, like I was saying, it can be crime, it can be violence, it can be wrong, right? Especially against your morals. Yes. Because yes, some people come from, and I'm pretty sure some people come from good homes where they were taught the right way, right? But they don't have the right and proper way. So if you were taught a certain way, try to pass it on, try to portray it and put it forth so that other people can grasp your way of training, even with your kids. And always remember, kids live what they learn. So if a child come and see you doing something that is not right and that is wrong, they are going to think it is okay, and they're going to start doing it because they see you do it, so they think it is right. So it's just for an example, and I'm going to use example. So first, say if you have your next door neighbor, you understand, and your next door neighbor and you cannot get along for whatever reason it is, and your kid grow up and see, oh, my mom or my dad and my next door neighbor, they don't get along, and they're always cursing, you don't think that child is seeing all these type of things, and they're gonna think it is okay, and they're gonna start get up and cursing the next door neighbor? Not only that, curse the next door neighbor kids. I'm just using examples. I'm just trying to get my point across. So guilt is when we accept. Guilt is when we accept. We accept or the areas in which we are going wrong, and then we start to turn it around and to make it right. Right? So that is a form of guilt. Guilt is an unhappy feeling, because after we do the thing, you understand, that we start to realize that we're doing whatever is wrong, it starts to bring off unhappy feelings, right? Because you or me might have done something wrong, or think, or our way of thinking is different, because everybody is different in a sense. We don't think the same. Everybody think, everybody do things differently. So what I am actually trying to get across here is, when we have done something wrong, whether we have fixed the fan wrong, we put the wrong parts, we turn it the wrong way, we have to go back and fix it the right way after we realize the fan was fixed wrong. You understand? And for those of us, for example, if we have a friend and we offend a friend, you understand me? Turn your wrong into right, even though you know, and you know within inside of you, you have done that friend wrong. You turn it into right. You understand me? I am not telling you that you have to talk to the person. You have to talk to the person. It is up to you. Once you have a subconscious level, you're conscious. You understand? Your own conscious, your conscience. Turn your wrong and make it into right. And I'm pretty sure if you have a conscience, your conscience will ride you. You ever hear them say, some people will come and say, my conscience will ride me. My conscience will ride me, because yes, because they realize, they have come to terms, they have accepted where they went wrong. Right? And then their next step is to fix the wrong. Turn the wrong into right, or make it right. It would not hurt to use the word sorry. It would not hurt to be kind. It would not hurt not to manipulate others when we know we're in the wrong. Right? Because some people, they like to use psychology on people. They try to mess with people's mind. They try to play on people's emotion. And I've seen it, and I've lived it, and I'm pretty sure you lived it as well. Because you have people in general, they are never wrong, and those are manipulators. So you might not be in agreement with me, but I'm just saying, life is too short. We have to live, love, laugh, enjoy life, embrace life. You understand? And live like there's no tomorrow, because we don't sure about tomorrow. We're not sure about tomorrow. And I always say, in everything that you do, give God thanks and be grateful. It doesn't matter what small, what little you have, be thankful for it. Be humble and stay blessed.
Is everything all right in here? Yes, Elder Mother. Hell no, all right. I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, so where is it? I'll have someone show.
So my message for today is, when we have done something wrong to people, it does not hurt to apologize and to say sorry. You don't have to be friends with the person, but did you know, when you come to terms with where you went wrong, or the wrongs that you have done, and you come to terms with it, You know that gives you a sense of assurance and inner peace. Did you know that? Because you're releasing it from your system. You are releasing it, you have accept, you have analyzed, and your next step is to fix it, right? And once you have fixed it, you have released that burden from you. You release that heavy load from you. Did you know that? So beautiful people, we have to start taking responsibility for our own actions. We have to be responsible for our own actions, whether it might be the things we say or the things that come from our mouth or how we act towards someone. Because I'm pretty sure, I'll give you example, right? You know, the smallest thing that you do can trigger somebody. Did you know that? The smallest thing that you do can trigger somebody. I'll give you an example. Per se, if for example, if I walk into a room, you're sitting in the room, and like all three of us, we know each other. All three of us, we know each other. And you say Mary and Joanne sitting in the room, and Pamela walk through the door, and it becomes silent, and you could hear Joanne and Mary talking in the room very loud. You understand me? And as soon as Pamela walked through the door, Mary and Joanne go quiet and go silent. The smallest little thing can trigger somebody. The very smallest thing. And then the action behind it, they start acting weird and strange. They start acting weird and strange as soon as the person walk in the room. Now, when a person start acting weird and strange, as soon as the person, it's a self of guilt, because they know they were talking about the individual. It's a sense of guilt.
You passed the test. Test of that, sir. No. You passed one of them.
So it's our own actions.
I would do anything.
And I'll give you a next example as well.
Yes.
Per se, say Joan and Mary and Pamela, them so tight, all three of them, body. You understand me? And when you look, you always see Joanna and Pamela and Mary together all the time. And as soon as Pamela turn her back and gone, and Joanna and Mary leave, Pamela leave to go home, you know, and Joanna and Mary left. You understand me? Then Joanna and Mary start to talk about Pamela, whatever information Pamela share about her life. You understand? Because Pamela confide, they are all friends. You don't believe and think if you guys are all friends, you don't think if something don't sit with you right about Pamela, you can talk to Pamela. You know, you can tell Pamela. You can say, Pamela, you know, you tell me this and it just not sit right with me, or whatever the case. You understand? And we're going to get into friendship too. Our next topic is going to be on friendship as well.
Anything I can do?
So it's our actions. Our actions. And when we realize and we see where we went with our own action towards that individual, the guiltiness starts kicking in. The room suddenly went quiet because it is a sense of guilt, because they know they were specifically talking about the individual.
You're allowed to touch me now.
Body language.
Yes, your Highness.
You might not agree with what I'm saying, You might not in agreement, but this is my opinion.
Brother Claude,
Sister.
the elder mother said the highest wants to
So as long as we start to
Someone right now.
come to terms with our own actions on what we have done,
Thank you, brother.
then we start to turn it around. When I say turn it around, we start to think. When I say we start thinking, how are we going to turn our wrongs into right? How are we going to fix it? We are analyzing, we're weighing the pros and cons. We're assessing the situation on how to resolve it. So I'm just saying, at times we do things and we don't realize what we are doing, what we are saying. We are offending other people. You understand me? We're turning people off from us. We're turning people away from us. Our own actions.
No. Not doing it, friends. Please.
I can do it.
Do it.
You understand?
Perhaps if you were more clear on
So
what you want.
when we're able to come to that terms, you understand me? We open our mind, open our vocabulary, and start to admit, accept where we go wrong. And then our next area is to fix it. How we gonna fix it?
There's nothing wrong with me.
I know.
Yes.
We start to worry, we start to ponder because of our own action. And once worrying and unhappiness kicks in, you understand me? Once those things starts to kick in, and you know what you have to do next. Because once you start worrying, sometimes that can affect your mind mentally, because that sits up here, but you're not making the effort to fix it. So beautiful people, let's start turning our wrongs into right. And let's start to accept when we are wrong with certain things.
Not far. Hey man. Want a funny ass story?
Nobody no say you can't talk. You can talk. Freedom of speech, it is your mouth.
No, no, pretty one.
But if you say you care about somebody and you love somebody, you don't hurt them.
Swinging that whole boy.
Don't be a faker.
Was his blood in the crater? Shit. Happen to want the damn money back. I'm like, yo, nah. Y'all better fuck her in the ass.
You understand?
Me too. Whole damn room smell like duty.
So beautiful people, remember to subscribe. You understand? Spam up the comment section, guys. Spam up the comment section. And remember, this platform is nothing about motivation. This platform is nothing about positivity, positive vibes. You understand me? We're not here for negativity. And like I said, you'll always see me come on up and I will talk about certain topics. And the topics that I discuss is what we face, what we do on a day-to-day basis. So let's start to be kind and let's start to be considerate about other people's feelings, guys. The world does not revolve around us alone. And when we say things about people that is not true, which is unkind, which is mean and demeaning, we have to take actions, take ownership of our own actions, whether by our actions, whether by what we say, we speak, or what we do, body language wise as well. So beautiful people, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to each and everyone who have supported my channel. Guys, remember to subscribe, to share, like up the comment section, guys. And once again, welcome to my forum, and be blessed, and I will see you next time. Thank you, guys.